Which profession is criminally underpaid? Elder care, child care, sick care. Yep, I found out that SNA treating my grandma and a whole floor of a nursing home only made $13 an hour. Should be making quadruple that for all of the literal shit she has to take care of. I heard too many CNAs saying the nursing homes are working completely bare bones and the low pay isn't worth it. It's no wonder some patients get terrible care. Public defenders. I have a private law practice. The public defenders make a fraction of what guys like me make, know criminal law inside and out, and carry obscene caseloads. The system would break down immediately if they went on strike. Which honestly they should. My girlfriend is a public defender and the amount of stress she's in at work every day alone should be worth double what she makes. I was thinking this the other day, if everyone has a right to representation, and there are so many incidents that happen every day, how are all of these covered? Now I guess I know, people working long hours for low pay, of course. Edit, I'm learning a lot about our judicial system in these replies. Kinda. Not great. If it's core to the Constitution, human rights and the health of the Republic, let's not invest in it. EMS, without question. Janitors. They clean up all our shit, get no respect, and are sometimes some of the chillest people I've ever met. We should pay them more. My fiancée is a janitor at Mayo Clinic. They just gave her a raise to $19.90 hour. Edit, she works from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. so a shift differential is included. Good for them. If their job even remotely involves the possibility of mopping someone's feces off the floor, they deserves more. Edited. I made $9.50 an hour as an EMT. Never ask why is there an EMS shortage around me, I will go off. Did all the schooling and certifications for it. Got out and realized I made more changing oil. I make $12.95 as a fire dump with certs and qualifications blowing out my ass. To make ends meet I drive a propane truck around part-time for $1.25 HR. I literally made $12 HR changing oil. What a joke. We all know where the funding goes. Car manufacturing and not health and safety services. Funny, my dad told me that volunteering for a mostly volunteer fire department can help minimize taxes some. Interesting he didn't say, government not bailing out automotive and transportation industry could minimize taxes people may have to pay. Basically any profession that requires you to work with vulnerable people. Social workers. High-dollar educational costs with licensure for caseloads that are not humanely manageable safely and not enough money to eke out a living. Can confirm. I make $12.88 at the Arizona Department of Child Safety as an admin and our specialists investigators make 20 hours. They do not get paid enough to deal with the sometimes literal shit they do. Edit, I have a chronic condition, so the health insurance is worth more than money. Absolutely the only reason I'm still working here. Interviewing TMRW for a 17 hours position and I never thought I'd be so excited to convince someone to pay me less than $20 HR. Edit, included my state. Good teachers. Every good teacher I knew in high school has had to dip into their personal savings to help enrich the classroom. Whoever is in charge of providing so little disposable funding for educators to use while also paying them pennies for their work should be locked up. It truly is criminal. Frown. Edit, thanks for the gold my dude. Just want teachers to get some love and help because they bust their asses and bank accounts for our kids. I used to be an assistant. The teacher I worked under said she couldn't afford to be a teacher if her husband didn't have a well-paying job. My wife is coming up on 20 years as a teacher at the same school. She is universally recognized as a great teacher, multi-time teacher of the year, tons of students always thanking her, writing her notes, coming back to visit her, crediting her with their successes, etc. She regularly has to deal with fights, mace, weapons, entitled students, helicopter parents, a million edicts from the State Board of Education, broken AC and heat, literally hundreds of letters of recommendation, bomb threats, all kinds of shit. She pays thousands of dollars a year for school supplies for her classroom and students. She does hours of grading every night. She takes an extra period, so plus 20%, every year. And now, after almost 20 years, she barely breaks $50K annually. It's ridiculous. Social workers. They see abused, neglected kids all day, awful living conditions, desperation and poverty. Hands are tied with the ridiculous amount of red tape, etc. Soul-sucking job that makes one lose faith in humanity very quickly. No amount of money is worth the nightmares they must have at bedtime. IMPS. Hashtag Justice Forms. FKU, they deserve so much more than just ice. Everyone who is governmentally declared essential when COVID hit. Edit, first gold. Wow. Thanks stranger. Extra edit, this counts double for people who are on or near the minimum wage when COVID hit, had to do dangerous work and got a pat on the back, a pin, or a thank you email while companies' profits soared. And people in healthcare and emergency services. It's probably easier to point out which ones are criminally overpaid. Social workers. Make minimum wage, deal with the craziest people on the planet, something happens in your care then you go to jail. People in wildlife conservation. This is why I ducking hate disaster type movies. Always show the rich scientist in their top tier lab driving a Tesla. Earl is more like broke ass PhDs trying to find the protocol for a donated piece of equipment and its corresponding software from 1998 that can only run on Win95. Would be fucking rad if we could get 11,000th the funding of a mid-sized biotech to save the elephants and penguins. Teacher's aide. I get headbutt, kicked, scratched, bitten, spit, kick, thrown up on, and peed on for less than 700 every 15 days. The parents are worse. Amen. This is the one I came here to write. I am a teacher, and I absolutely could not get through my days without my amazing aides. They make instruction possible. I am always saying how they get the most difficult students, sometimes all day long, yet they make the least. It's criminal for real. Some of them even need hazard pay, no joke. From a teacher, thank you, aides, for all you do. You are appreciated more than we could ever express. I thank mine all the time and tell them how much I value them. Social workers, therapists. You have to have a master's, and you only get paid $35,000. Bullshit. I'm a therapist at a nonprofit. I have a master's degree and most of the time am getting paid $15 HR to fill out tons of paperwork that only someone with a master's degree can fill out. It sucks. I also only get paid hourly. If I only have 3 clients that day, I get paid for those 3 hours only. If someone cancels on me, no pay for that time wasted, even though I structured my whole day around seeing them. I thank my higher power every day that I have no student debt because my paychecks wouldn't be paying back shit. At this point I'm basically working for dirt cheap so I can get licensed and go about my own business. I didn't get into this field for the money, but it'd be nice if I could at least live off my paycheck, you know. Resident physicians. Some make less than minimum wage for 80-hour work weeks despite saving countless lives. Yeah, I've never understood that concept of residency. It's exploitation. Making a new doctor work those insane hours for barely any money. The godfather of the modern concept of surgical residency and the insane hours that go hand in hand with it was the chair of surgery at Johns Hopkins at the turn of the 20th century named Dr. Halstead. He was also addicted to cocaine and heroin for his entire career. He would do cocaine in the morning and throughout the day for energy and then heroin in the evening to mellow himself out. When he started both of these drugs they were legal but quickly became addicted. Nobody knew of his addictions until after his death. So the entire culture of denying our human needs and weaknesses and working as automatons for 24 hours at a time is based on someone who was literally a cokehead, nearly impossible for the sober to keep up that pace. Why is this so well known as a fun fact, yet no one does anything to help the issue, except for the 80 hours cap? It's also not a hard cap as long as you average less than 80 per week over a month it's allowed. Not unheard of for residents to work a 100 hours week, especially in surgery residencies. LMFAO is if anyone gets a 60-hour week to balance out a 100-hour week. You just don't log over 80. Taking care of special needs folks. I'm about to do an overnight and I'm extremely stressed. Starting to wonder if this field is really for me. You might get used to it. My mother worked that field for nearly a decade and recently retired. Had a vitamin D deficiency, but she says it was worth seeing her guys all pleased. All professions listed in this thread seem to provide tangible real-world value to make our lives better. It sucks that they are underpaid while some hedge fund douche is raking in 6 figures while providing literally zero value to anyone. I'm an accountant for large corporations. I'm pretty sure I provide zero value to anyone. Especially when you consider how incredibly lazy I am. Vet techs. $15 to $22 an hour for doing everything a nurse does, just on furry patients.